Welcome everybody to the LCK Spring 2020. This is Valdez and with me is LS and we are going to the ship. Yes, we're going to the ship. And in fact, all we do is win. And you're also looking at a CHAMP, I believe is what he was saying. So that's all that's really important here today. I just wanted to let you guys know about that. And anyway, on the side, just in happenstance, we have to have some League of Legends be played here. We have T1 up against APK.
Yep.
Now, on paper, this does look like a really one-sided matchup. We're not going to pull any strings or anything like that, but APK is showing a bit of promise in recent times.
APK has come really close in some of their games, and so don't let their record deceive you. You really do have to go into the meat of it to really look at where things are going wrong. Now, I do think that this is going to be one-sided, but it's maybe APK is going to be able to show up and at least put up a little bit of resistance. I don't think that they're going to win. I don't think anyone can predict that they would win.
Yeah. Somebody asked me before, they were like, what do you think the chances are that this is not a 2-0? I was like, 5%, you know? Maybe that's a little bit too generous.
Yeah, too high of odds.
But we are going to take a look at the points of the match as the music does determine. Confidence boosted, +1. Wow, they gained some stats. Playing their favorite MMO. APK with the first win. Whoever the opponent is, it's time they show the underdogs of set. Dog eat dog first place competition. T1, will they rejoin the first place battle today? Chances are looking likely, Ellis.
Yeah. It's going to be very rough as Hybrid does not fall behind Teddy. #1 damage per minute in LCK and a 200 POG point tie. So, we'll see what's going to happen down there, though, in the bot lane today, as I can imagine that Hybrid's going to have a little bit of difficulty against Teddy, but the Prince Expedition got a rough journey ahead. T1, Dragon X, and Genji. The top teams do await. So, this is obviously in reference to APK about to start running the gauntlet. And given how their season has started off so far, that's going to be very troublesome going forward.
Yep, that it will, as we are going to take a look at some team stats as well. APK up against T1, 9th versus 2nd. You can see that the win rate with a gold lead at 10 for APK is 100%. They just don't often get the gold lead at 10, as it's only happened in 3 of their games. Now this is games, not matches, so you can see they've had 12 games so far as a gold lead at 10 there, percentage. The third one is there. You can see that T1 doesn't have the best stats when it comes to gold lead at 10. A little bit slower of a ramping up team, as you can see there.
And the other thing is they have Trigger and Mia, who, honestly, every time they come out, always a bit surprising with the picks. As we're moving into the highlights now. Flawless having a flawless hit and run. Like a car right there.
Yes, quite literally.
As here, this was Secret finding his way into a team fight and put him in the deep end.
Power initiate.
Yep.
Power
T1
initiation.
highlights.
Yep. Root, and then T1 just wipes out the opponents. Oh boy. I remember this. This is when T1 said, Dragon X, get out of my game.
Yep.
And it happened multiple times. You see Or and MF picked together, and you can see their synergy, obviously, on paper and in game. It doesn't always work out that cleanly. But T1 were absolutely clean when it came to some of these engages up against Dragon X the last time.
And the surprising thing as well is that T1, they've been getting better in recent series. They've also been finding themselves with advantageous drafts.
Whoa.
A little bit more often as we've been diving further and further in to LCK Spring 2020. Key player matchup here
take a look at Hybrid's stats. I mean, we all know that Teddy is awesome. He's got some pretty insane stats when you look over there. He's all first or second. By the way, second in the LCK for damage per minute for Teddy. First in the LCK for damage per minute to Hybrid. And keep in mind, guys, when it just says second without LCK under it, that means for their role.
Yeah.
So Teddy has second highest KDA for 80 carries, but not second highest KDA in the LCK. But this is actually a couple of guys that have the 2 highest KDA, or rather DPM, in the entire league right now.
And obviously, Hybrid, his KDA is 8th in his role, and you look at the champions that he's been playing, and also he is always fighting.
Yes.
And so that's certainly helping amplify his stat for the damage per minute. And we're going to see who's going to be starting here today in just a second. We have the key player matchup there. But we'll see if Hybrid is in the 80 carry position.
I wonder. I have to really
Don't wonder,
scratch
Valdez.
my
You
head.
have a sheet right there.
Oh,
you
it
know
was
what?
Hybrid.
You know what? You're not supposed to spoiler it.
Well, they can see them now. So, as you guys would have expected, the expected players are coming out here tonight. No big change-ups in the lineups for either side, as it will be Hybrid and Secret coming out here. And everybody on the side of T1, no Roach. It will be Kana, of course, as they all sit down and prepare for this matchup. We saw a lot of focus on Soraka, Yuumi, Ornn. What else? Olaf, in terms of bans. Aphelios, banned out 5 times. I believe those 5 champions I just mentioned were banned in every single game of the first series. So wouldn't be surprised to see more of those bans here.
Yep. We'll see what T1's approach to Ixu is going to be, as obviously we've seen he really likes his Alawi.
How is Soraka against Alawi?
Well, I don't think that Soraka is going to be getting through. And so what I'm imagining is that if T1 has really done their homework on the meta right now, you end up banning Ornn, Soraka, and Aphelios, I think, are the strongest 3 on red side, at least with how it is in Korea. I think if you start going abroad, there's some other champion picks that can end up getting some priority and attention on red, like Pantheon and some others, as panning over just the starting roster. No real surprises, obviously.
I'm a big fan of that Pantheon that you did mention. It's a shame we don't see him more often, but could definitely see a bit of a mix-up here if he does end up coming out. I'm trying to take a look on my sheet of how many times he's been played, but I don't see him on the 10.3 sheet. I believe we had him once yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, players are almost ready to hop into the game. You can see the lobbies there. Flawless getting a little stretch in. It's always good to be limber before you do hop into a game of League of Legends.
And here we go. We're
Posture
going
check.
We're going to the ship.
We're going to the ship?
Yeah.
We're going to the ship.
we are going to the ship.
Yes.
All you do is win.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You've seen me play. Unbelievable. High level.
It really is, yeah.
Rek'Sai. No Rek'Sai here for Mr. Cazarino. Aphelios.
And Set being banned away by APK. Aphelios is banned. Now let's see if T1. Yeah, okay. Oh, I am. Let's see. Can they find?
Did they finally learn one of your many gripes? Did they figure it out? Now, APK could ban Soraka.
All right, here we
Another
go.
one is Olaf that's been seeing so much attention in the ban list nowadays. And by nowadays, I mean today. Soraka!
All right. Well, 3 for 3.
And these 5 champions are just being targeted so hard. It's kind of a toss-up between Set and Yuumi, but add them in and call it 6. Outside of that, there's always like only one ban spot that you see a lot.
No, this is actually a really good spot to just go Gragas Ezreal because Yumi's not banned away. Yuumi doesn't have the best synergy with MF, so you can Gragas on R1, Ezreal R2, and then finish it off with Yuumi on R3. Gives you lots of flexibility, lets you retain flex potential on R4. She's a champion that's able to go both top and mid. And then it still reserves you the counter pick.
Oh, what did you have for dinner, LS?
You know, I'm not really so sure what's going on here, but
You just keep reading that script.
Yeah.
I was wondering why it was lost. LS found the lost script. Jarvan and Nautilus.
this is it. T1 can just lock Yuumi. Yuumi on R3 is, I think, the nuts, actually. If they end up doing that, and then you move to the second ban phase.
Yeah.
You know, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Oh, Braum. He's back. And you know, he's good against bullet time. He's not there to win the lane. He's not there to be OP like Yuumi, but he's there to put up a shield and stop the unstoppable with his
This is
unbreakable.
all G-Sun's fault. I got the wrong script.
G-Sun's
Making me look like a fool up here. I don't-
G-Sun's inting your cast right
Yeah,
now.
she is. She's running it down. Oh, man. All right, well.
No Kiana here for Kaney.
And Lucian gonna be banned away, and I wonder if that is signaling that they want to take Zoe if T1 won't pick it on R4, as Alawi ends up getting banned away.
They just don't want to give Ixu that pick. It's one of the purest target bans I've seen in a while.
And so GP could come in here for T1 if you're looking for a blind top laner that loses 0 matchups with all the champions that have been banned now. Gangplank would be super insane. That is not Gangplank. That is that's a Yordle. His name is Rumble.
You're not a big fan of Yordles.
I'm not really a big fan. I'm just waiting
Rumble,
for Riot.
Kennen, Gnar,
Listen to me for a
Teemo.
second, Valdez. Okay.
Okay.
You need to get Yordle, Rumble. Or wait, what? Rumble, Teemo, Tristana, Vigar. Okay.
Yes.
Lulu and Fizz all together,
Yeah.
and you make them have like a band like BTS. You know, and you
Okay.
do like a skit.
Ooh.
You know?
Oh, interesting.
That'd be
I
good.
didn't know where you were going with that, but I can
That's
get
what
behind
we're waiting
that.
for. We're waiting for a Yordle band.
Okay. Would they play mini instruments?
Yeah.
Will
They
they
would.
dance around in the forest like the little things from Zelda?
All right. Well, I think, yeah, I think they would. I mean, we still doesn't have a friend at the end of it. Like APK, they lock in the Syndra as the generic blind, and then Aatrox now coming in. So T1 can Gangplank here, and they can send the Rumble into mid. It is a losing matchup against the Syndra, but Gangplank would be super valuable here. Alternatively, they might try to counter it in mid. Huh. But no, gonna actually go with the Camille. And so the Camille gives them a lot of value in the later stages of the game, but not so much early. Now, the interesting thing here is they're losing top, losing mid early. And they had options to sort of fix top lane and make that be favorable. And then obviously the Ezreal and the Braum down there in bot lane, it's not the Ezreal Yuumi. All in all, this ends up being a pretty stable, well-rounded draft by both teams, but there was definitely a lost opportunity for T1 to really just asphyxiate APK in the draft. You like that?
Yeah, that was good.
You like that word?
And,
Okay.
you know, they got close, but we'll see. I mean, Kana hopping onto the Camille. Eventually, that lane can go in his favor. I wonder how he's going to do up against Ixu, a guy who's been around forever and likes to play weird stuff, but lands upon a very normal pick in the Ayaya Trox. And we'll see on the other side that Faker elects to go into the Rumble. It's not a pick that I remember Faker playing all too much, but we all know that he plays pretty much anything. And I'm sure he's played it a lot in solo queue.
There's a lot of champions that don't have a lot of synergy with each other. In this team composition for Team 1, it's just a lot of strong champions sort of thrown together. Very, very akin to APKs.
Yes.
So,
although APK have great,
yeah,
straightforward team fight, run at the enemy.
Yeah.
All together. You have fantastic engage. You can get unbelievable flank teleports with the Aatrox if you get ahead. And of course, MF uses her bullet time, presses the R button, and then laughs her way to the bank. A decent amount of poke on the side of T1 with the Rumble, Ezreal, and even Gragas. A couple of Qs maybe thrown out there from the Braum. See if they can keep APK at arm's length and just say, we'll engage when we want to, when we chip away at your composition first. And we take a look at the runes. Nothing too out of the ordinary, although Kaney with the Scorch on Syndra. And Faker, he has the Predator on Rumble, so he's going to be looking for roams and things of that nature, but Syndra always able to get priority on a whim in this matchup. It's one of the few champions that can actually fully rumble around as well, depending on how well Syndra plays. Faker waiting quite a while, puts down a later ward. But it was spotted, his little movements on in there.
And Kaney a little bit slow on the push in the lane, so we'll see how he's going to end up actually wanting to conduct himself in this matchup. As Hybrid and Secret, everything is just really going standard here. Gragas, blue side clear, Jarvan red into blue, maybe trying to do a level 2 gank, and top lane set the pace.
Oh, and he's going to avoid the ward at the same time. Now the wave is slightly pushing into Kana.
Oh, this is a very bizarre trade that makes Kana not even want to walk up. What is he doing?
Well, he certainly bullied him, and now there's a ward on the red that will spot Flawless coming in here at level 2. It just popped off, though. Did they see him? There were no pings that went down. I think the ward was on the corner there, and as he was rounding the corner, the ward went down. And he's gonna come in here and now notice it, as Flawless ends up stealing that red. His aggressive movements, he wanted to go top, but that did not go well, as we all did see, and ends up getting something out of it.
Well, Flawless gonna end up being down now. In terms of camps, he is going to be able to get over to the left-hand side Scuttle Crab. He's going to be able to pick that one up first. Faker getting shoved in, but he does manage to CS all these minions. Nope, misses one, misses... Nope, misses two. I'm going to blame that one on you, Valdez.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad to take responsibility.
Yeah, no problem.
Faker ends up using heal to get away from the Jarvan that had snuck around Syndra, and then tried to gank from the right side, I believe.
Here's the thing that has been actually pretty consistent in all of Kaney's games. His mana management is pretty consistently poor. Now, he doesn't have teleport inside of this lane. He does still have 2 biscuits as well as a corrupting potion still remaining. Faker's at full HP. And this isn't the way that you want this matchup to be playing out. This is a awful losing lane state here for the Syndra. I don't even know how this is so consistently happening. Even if it appears on paper that Syndra's doing okay, she's really not.
Yeah, I mean, straight up going even and getting pushed in by the Rumble. Generally not a good thing. As we can see there in the mid lane, Faker, I suppose, just outplaying Kaney for now. He's able to push that one out, just backs into space. Kaney doesn't have enough mana. He's chugging biscuits. Just hoping and praying. And now Faker's getting a read that, hey, you don't have too much mana. Let me push this one in. Even deny your back and try to get a advantageous back for myself. He's gonna do exactly that here. Kaney is just getting bullied now. Takes the full brunt of that Q through the fire and the flames. Kaney will not carry on, although he is gonna stick around here.
Yeah, and the issue for him is that he's trapped inside of this lane right now because of the lack of teleport. And so now if you're Faker, you're completely fine to just keep playing out this lane from this point, because there's never gonna be a point where Syndra can realistically threaten you with anything unless Jarvan ends up making a pit stop in mid lane, but Cuz already doing so much, and yeah, here he comes to try to help her shove out, but this is gonna force Flawless and Kaney to share XP, and now just watch as Faker insta-shoves this again. And this is very pressuring for Kaney. You can see Faker walks forward, he wants to see how close is Kaney.
And he's going to have to back here. He's going to have to back here on a non-cannon wave. Flawless is going to go in there. One-on-one, that will soon turn into a one-on-two, but Kana taking huge damage. Ixu is going to get first blood, and Cuz does not have the damage. Forced that fight a little bit too soon, and he gets punished for it.
So Kana ends up dying there at a really key time. Everything was super stable. Kana had teleport available, and so Ixu gets that solo kill. Also drags Cuz into top lane, gets both their flashes as well. Now off the recall, Merc Treads plus Ruby Crystal picked up for Faker, Lost Chapter for Kaney. Let's take a look at this one more time. Infernal Chains comes out, Ixu ends up using the Hextech Ultimatum, but it just doesn't matter. As it almost looked like Cuz was maybe going to be able to save him, but not quite in the end.
You see that Kana was trying to force it so hard that he just took Q number 1, Q number 2, and Q number 3. And if that happens, you're probably going to die against an Aatrox if you're relatively squishy at all. So really just trying to force the issue. Did not work out for the top lane. Cuz getting there late, he was also level 5. Wasn't able to help out with a cask or anything like that. Bottom lane we're taking a look at. Very even so far. Ezreal slightly behind, but not a huge deal.
And meanwhile, in mid lane, Syndra now with the Lost Chapter though. This is the point where she's able to get priority at a whim. And it's really hard for Rumble to do anything to her, especially once she picks up the blue buff. In addition to the Lost Chapter, there's nothing Rumble can really do other than try to avoid her. But her wave clear speed is just so fast.
Yep, that's the fun part about Syndra. You can have some really nice lane priority through your ability to push extremely fast. Red buff is going to go the way of Flawless again. They're going to spot him, the flash on in. Cuz doesn't have his flash. Goes for the body slam, and Flawless is not going to die. Has the triumph, and it will be denied by Ixu. Able to save his life there. Now the one-on-one, and take a look at the position of Kaney. He's going to find Faker first. Faker looking for that, but it's going to be dodged. It totally misses.
Everything's going wide.
Goes wide, and touchdown basically. As it touched down, but it didn't do much damage. At the end of the day, a nice follow-up invade from Flawless, and they were able to communicate that Cuz did not have flash.
Yeah.
And they took advantage of it.
Everything just really working out here for APK. Now, one of the confusing things is that after Faker ends up CSing this entire wave, and the wave coming in...
Kana.
Hold on.
You're down up against Ixu. He's 2-0. Generally not a good idea to try to fight him.
Flawless looks like he's gonna try to just get that Rift Herald. And so, falling behind early on, definitely a bit problematic for T1. Shouldn't have had 2 deaths end up occurring. Both of them very close calls.
Yeah.
But now Flawless gonna come over, has the Rift Herald. Kana
Oh boy.
not here yet. Kaney,
They're not going to wait. They're just going to go for the
들어가서
plates.
노플이랬지.
another Windows mode
You
user.
said Gragas doesn't have flash, right?
Yeah.
나 그라가스 볼게.
I'll
지금
look for
볼게.
Gragas. Now, interestingly,
것 같은데?
he didn't pop his potion until almost at
네,
the
막아줘,
very
막아줘.
end. So that would have been really sad if he
나
had
위로 갈
just
거야, 위로 갈 거야.
died.
나 여기
Yeah.
있을 거야, 나 여기 있을 거야, 여기 있을 거야.
I'm going to stay
나
here. I'm
뺄게,
going to stay
뺄게,
here.
지금 뺄게.
I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave.
괜찮아, 괜찮아, 괜찮아. 안 맞았어, 안 맞았어, 안
Fine,
맞았어.
I'm fine.
빼자, 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 빼자.
He didn't hit me. Let's back. And yeah, just really keeping his focus. You can tell how focused he is. He's not really freaking out or getting emotional. He's just like, I think I'm gonna die. No, I didn't. I'm gonna stay here. Wait, now let's back. So really focus in this game now is Flawless.
Yeah. T1 just got Mountain Dragon. So that'll end up being valuable in the later stages of the game. Even if it's only a bit of amplification right now, as we're having ping pong everywhere again.
We had some good plays up on the top side, some proactive plays to try to outplay your opponents, so I don't mind if they settle into a little bit of a lull state here.
And your T1 right now, I mean, sometimes their games do end up going like this, and then eventually it breaches the mid-late game and they win team fights. That's typically what ends up happening very often, as Aatrox, he has the Ninja Tab, he has the Phage, has the Warhammer, has the Doran's Blade as well. As Kana trying to trade against him. Flawless up here as well. Now, Flawless is not really farming all that much in this game.
No, he's been incredibly active and aggressive just in the enemy jungle. Demolish Proc gonna come in here. They're gonna try to force the fight. Makana is Camille. Backs away. Shared gold goes over to Flawless there, but first turret will go the way of APK and Ixu, who is, he's stacking up the gold. He's the first guy with the bounty, 2-0. Great high-level farm in the game, gets the first turret. And he's gonna be on a big roll in this one.
Well, Kana, is he freezing? Hold on here, hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait. Hold on here. We're gonna need to see what happens on this second wave.
He's really not pushing that fast.
Can't tell.
Nice hook coming in here, though. The stun is going to go down, and Equalizer does just about 0. As Faker tried to help out his buddy.
He's freezing. I think. Well, I mean, he's trying to. He's slowly pushing it.
Yeah.
You can see on the mini map. Braum died. We don't. You know. I mean, that happens.
Yes, it happens. And now that Equalizer is down, they can't push the wave back. They need to call Cuz over here to help with this one. Rumble doesn't have the best wave clear unless he's able to get close to the wave. So they will do it eventually, but that's 2 plates extra.
Yeah.
That will go the way of APK.
And Faker, right now, he has the Merc Treads as well as an Oblivion Orb. And so, bit of some, that is actually a bit surprising itemization. I would imagine that if he wanted to maximize damage value, he would just go Sork Pen Boots with Oblivion Orb for the 33 pen.
럼블 미드.
But,
이번에 우리 붙으면 한번 봐줄 수 있어.
We can do this. Going.
걔부터. 브라움 잡았어. 나이스. 브라움 노플.
No flash.
브라움 노플 아랫발.
does everyone on APK play with windowed mode? They're
Well,
on the other side of the arena, so I
we
can't
know that
see.
2 of them do.
Yeah.
We've gotten that information. And to be honest, before a couple of days ago, we haven't seen too many of their highlight plays, so now that they're beginning to win, it's cool that we get to find out a bit more about APK. Keep in mind that T1 had pretty low gold. What's it called? They're winning in gold difference at 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they were like 42%. It was 6 for 14 games. And so they're behind again here. But it's not like they haven't come back from a position like this many times. Actually, more often than not, they do.
And the game really hasn't unfolded yet. We have 30 seconds until the ocean That's a very nice noise, actually, Rumbles. Little flame spitter right there.
Flame spitter, yeah.
Yeah, very, very calming noise. It sounded like brown noise. Do you ever use brown noise
I've
sleep?
No,
No?
but I have heard it before.
Okay, well, oh! Is she freezing?
She hit the cannon though.
I can't tell. I saw a
No,
lot of
I think she hit shot there.
Yeah, I think she did too.
Yeah, they're probably calling her mid because they keep
Soon.
pushing so hard.
Soon. We need the evolution to end up happening. You know, we're
Yeah.
almost there.
It's, you know, one wave at a time, Les. One wave at a time. Mountain Drake went to T1 first early on. Now Ocean Drake is going to be picked up here. And it will be Infernal Soul on the map. Which, honestly, it's awesome for both of these teams. So we'll see which one of them can take it down. You imagine Infernal on Rumble and Ezreal, and pretty much all of them. The Infernal Soul and the stats is going to be nice. Same to the side of APK.
And the ping pong is just going to continue, Valdez. We are going to get the never-ending ping pong. Faker, thank everything, did not end up building the Forbidden Book. He did put on his mask.
He's been studying, you know.
Yeah.
He's been doing a little bit of
You
studying.
know, no one cared about his itemization until he built the mask. That's
It's true.
I don't know if there's any truers around these parts, but I feel like that was really the highlight.
And, well, this red buff has been APK's the entire game. They're going to take it again. And another objective over there at the Rift Heralds. Maybe then they can finally push in the mid lane. And then after that, I would imagine that probably another fight down at the Infernal Drake, maybe some pushing down on the Tier 1 in the bottom lane.
So I feel like what's going to end up happening here is we're going to wait the 3.5 minutes until the Infernal Drake, and then at that point, we'll have a team fight. T1 will mechanically outperform APK, and then, hold on, I got to turn the page here. And then they'll go on to get some objectives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to use the Rift Heralds prior to that?
Can't read this handwriting.
Jisun has famously bad handwriting.
She really does.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
She's probably listening like, what? And, yeah, I mean, T1's just looking for picks if they can. You can see they're not playing ultra passively, even though they are behind in the game.
And there's nothing that's going on. I don't know what else.
Hey, there's a hook!
Oh, hold on.
Ultimate's going to come down. They're going to get slowed down by the GLP. He never used his ult.
Yeah, he held on to it.
He would have killed him. Decided not to. He says, well, I'm going to force him out anyway. That's as good as a kill. Maybe I can hold my ultimate for the next fight.
And right now, it's just T1 falling further and further behind. 3,000 gold is the advantage right now for APK, and I don't think this is how anyone would have predicted that this game would be going, as big trade by Kana. Getting chunked a little bit. Ixu just trying to shove in the wave. Death Stance going to end up coming out second here for the Aatrox. Gold advantage is about 3,500.
Yeah, slowly but steadily, they've been pushing the issue. They got their kills on the right teammates as well.
Hold on here, I did it.
Oh,
Let me get my photo.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. You might as well wait for Syndra to finish hers.
Ah, you're gonna get both.
Hey, she's gonna finish it
Valdez?
in such a short amount of time.
I'm trying to think why he would have Morello in a spot like this.
Would you
He
like me to-
already had the Oblivion Orb.
Do you want me to break it down for you? Well, okay, so Aatrox, he's got a lot of healing.
Wait, actually,
in his
no.
kit.
At that point, you have the Haunting Guys and you have the Oblivion Orb. So you invested 1,400 into the Morello when you could have invested just 1,600 into getting Leandries for this next team fight.
Nah. They need to cut down the healing from Aatrox.
Stop.
He's going to be burning Aatrox on the front line, you know? That's really it. There's definitely like 2 truers in the chat. They get it.
It's actually really sad.
Yeah, just think about how much more value he'd have for this fight.
Yeah.
It's such an important fight, too. Like, it's ridiculous how much better he would be doing in this next fight if he had bought the correct item.
And so instead, he's going to sit there. I mean, he posturing right now. And T1 now playing this very cautiously. They're on pretty even footing for this team fight, though. Actually, I think that T1's even favored.
Could happen. They get the double knockup into the equalizer. The cask as well for the burst. Kana is just going for the assassination attempt, and it's going to work out. It's flawless. Has the stopwatch. Really nice item, but take a look at the Aatrox. He's full health here, trying to dunk him down, but again, the stopwatch is going to be able to stop it here, and everybody on the side of APK going way too low. Good scatter the weak, but it will not save your life, even that stopwatch. Oh, yeah, there you go. Gonna go over to Teddy as T1. They get the engage. Funny, they're still down in gold after all of that, but they are gonna get so much more added to that as they're gonna pick up the Infernal, the bottom turret perhaps. Just hanging around the bottom side. Here's Faker. And it's T1 able to turn it around.
Turn the page.
Hold on.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Yeah, what
we
did you need me to see?
Well, we told the viewers what would happen at the Dragon fight, and you end up seeing the Gragas cast plus the Equalizer just coming out, and Kana just getting straight onto Hybrid, ripping him apart. Now pay attention here, Faker reducing the healing on the Corrupting Potion on Katie. Really taking him out of the fight.
Wow.
Before the rest of the members of APK just end up getting brought down, and then T1 turns their attention to the Infernal Dragon.
The Morello with the Equalizer on the MF, it probably cut down on the Bloodline, okay? So that was definitely the reason why MF died in that fight. But if it had been with Leandries, he probably would have just died from the Equalizer. Anyway.
And then Faker would have walked into the fight with Madness.
Yeah.
And,
oh,
you know, that would have
wow.
been a pretty good thing. But in the end, T1 now comfortably back into the lead as Kaney ended up investing 1,400 gold into the Morello when this is going to be a down period of the game. So sometimes actually getting Morello or getting items that aren't super efficient at later stages can be correct if there is something really crucial that's about to happen. But
Well, he got it after the Dragon
he
fight.
got it after the Dragon fight, which is why it's inefficient. And so the Morello doesn't really do all that much against T1's team composition, even though there's 2 heals. That's just 1 summoner spell that,
Hey, Gragas,
look at it that
his
way.
W.
all right, thanks, Valdez.
Yeah, he's got some regen. If you want to cut that down if possible.
T1 now, though, in such a commanding position now. Leandri's probably going to be completed here for Faker in coming moments.
Teddy's got red buff. That's also one thing you have to look at. He actually hit someone there. Trying to zone him out of this vision, essentially. They're just cutting down everything that they possibly can. Moving on over here is Ixu, thinking about going for a bit of a flank.
T1 should just be content to actually keep farming, but if APK wants to do this...
Yeah, they're engaging big time, but the TP comes out here, Effort able to deny with the stopwatch. And your engage will be shut down to enter a full-fledged K-Ram.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, T1 now, okay, well.
He ends up hitting them, but doesn't actually do much of anything.
Honestly, I really do wonder what is going on here, as the K-Ram is occurring at a very bizarre time.
Yeah, the Korean style K-Ram is not really as exciting as other regions, because they just look at each other from across the trenches. They don't take any shots.
Well, we are back in a little bit of a lull state. Everyone just needs to recall, farm up their items. Valdez, I just want to let you know that The Walking Dead returns in 2 days.
Oh, what season is that? 12?
Season 10B.
Oh, what?
10B. They break it up into 2 parts.
Why didn't they just call it 11? Well, I guess...
No, 10A, 10B.
I guess, yeah, Breaking
the
Bad
mid-season
did that as
finale,
well.
yeah.
Okay.
So, The Walking Dead really just, it sort of fell off a cliff a couple of seasons ago, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan on Negan he's carrying the show.
Really?
Okay, he's the only reason to tune in anymore.
Okay.
Just want to let you know that.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I've never seen the show. I think I saw episode 1. And that was about it. Yeah, oh, okay, don't laugh at me, guy who's never seen Game of Thrones, okay? Like, you're not allowed to laugh at me. So we're not having this discussion again. You know who could really pop off in this game if T1 end up coming back is Teddy.
Yeah.
He's about to get that blade, and he's really close to 3 items already. 2-0-1. Been doing a good job of farming.
And the next Infernal Dragon is up, and remember,
Speaking of which, oh, he's been able to isolate Secret here. He's totally fine. Lands that, and he kills him all alone. Teddy just taking out one member by himself. Syndra trying to do that to him, but it's not going to work out. T1 have been able to turn this game around. They're going to shut down 3 members just like that as the Infernal does come alive.
T1 now, they're just going to be able to pick up this Infernal relatively easily, as this game is really falling apart here for APK. Even if the gold graph leads you to believe that they're just within 600, 700 gold of each other, you gotta acknowledge that the Mountain Drake is adding a lot of value, it's giving a lot of stats, the double Infernal is doing a lot as well, in addition to the items on the side of APK aren't the most ideal, and it's really working against them when you consider the even footing that they should be on, and now T1 just sneaks the Baron. So, take a look at this one more time. Teddy just going forward onto Secret. Wallace decides that he's going to go in here, and the Equalizer just doing so much, applying not only Leandri's, but also the Cursed Tales of the Morel and Amacon.
Speaking of a cursed tale, how about 1-on-5?
Baker's trying to run.
He actually healed.
Yeah, no. I don't know. That's, no.
Rumble's scream was hilarious.
Wow. Well, you can see the trade here. Taking out tier 2 mid and tier 2 bot is going to be much better than Faker dying.
They need to... Well, I'll tell you about that later. As, okay, another turret ends up getting raised. We need to wait for a lull state before that happens.
Yeah.
As Infernal Drake's going to be up in 3.5 minutes. And both of these teams should just end up posturing here. It looks like Banshee's Veil going to be the next item for Kaney. And I'm not really sure why he would go Banshees here. Mostly because the Ezreal in the Gragas are able to proc it and get it off the Syndra so easily. And so even though it is magic resistance and the enemy team does have 4 sources of it, it just feels like Zanya's would probably be a lot more effective, or just accepting that if you get hit, you're going to die anyway. So just end up picking up another damage item.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded a death cap next.
Yeah, death cap next on Syndra would probably end up being fine here. Leandri's would also be fine.
Well, I can never trust you because you're biased as the Leandri salesman.
True.
I know you're just,
Also,
you're just trying to sell me stuff.
Doesn't have Runic or Luden's Echo, so the procs and having the dots go off on people.
Oh man, Teddy is just, he's a one-man army right now. He lands a Q and Secret basically falls over by the weight of it. And the game, just in that one fight around the dragon, that's all it took. And it was like over, just like that. SKT, or T1. It's week 3, guys. Still getting used to it. They might just win here. They're just pushing. And APK have offered no resistance. Fallen over like a house of cards. Looks like finally they're attempting to clear some waves after losing their 2 inhibitors. T1 sticking around as, oh boy. That's a huge equalizer, ticking for so much on Secret and Katie. That might just be the push they needed to take out another turret here. As well as what? Well, that's Camille for you, I suppose.
Okay, Teddy ends up getting hit, but I think they're just gonna keep going.
I can't believe he died that fast. Okay. Well, they're gonna attempt to put up a resistance here, but they will be dumped. Everybody is just styling on them now. Faker's not gonna die. And that is gonna be the end of the game. They don't waste any time with that one. 31.5 minutes, they're gonna take out Hybrid right before the end. GG. Game number 1 is T1's.
And, I mean, we knew that it was coming, the Infernal fight.
Yeah.
So T1 loses the early game to give enemy fans false hope, and then they bring it right back around, and that's how they convert them.
That's how they do that.
Into becoming T1 fans.
Yeah. That's why they lose the early game so often.
Yes.
So that they can come back and convert people.
Exactly.
It's the highest conversion rate strategy.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue with.
They int for 10 minutes, and then they're like, okay, let's start trying.
Exactly. And I am so
They're
glad.
like, let's purposely buy Morellos instead of Leandri's, so we show them how easy it is to kill them even with bad items. Right? Leandri's salesman. You would understand. Right?
3,100 gold. You can pick that up in the shop.
Yeah, it's a pretty good item.
It is a pretty good item.
He could have had it for that fight. But he didn't want to crush them too hard, because if you crush the souls of the enemy fans...
He didn't want to be wearing a mask. He sort of wanted to knock on their door with his book and ask them if they're interested.
There you go.
And then Katie was like, yeah, I'll buy a copy.
I'll buy a copy.
Immediately after he picked up a Morello. Oh, no.
He bought in, man. Katie bought into there.
It was the long con.
Yeah. And that happened at exactly 26 minutes there on the graph, as you guys can see. Teddy will pick up Pog.
And
no question.
Teddy, honestly, just having a very phenomenal performance. And Kana, he did end up getting solo killed by Ixu, but they just brought it back at the team fight. They fell down, and eventually just nothing ended up coming from it from APK. And remember, T1 was favored at that team fight because the item completion timings tended to favor them, and then APK sort of funneled and lined up for the perfect equalizer, as well as just the approach from the other T1 members. So, really unfortunate. You have to give APK credit, though. They didn't just roll over in this game.
And we've seen that many times before, so hopefully they can return to that in the next game after this break.
리퍼 공격 생각해.
라인
자르방 큐 맞춰놨어요.
한 박을게. 잡았다.
끝나겠다.
네만해.
한 빼고 노트 우리 이제 공 맞았다.
빼빼빼.
나이스.
그래 빠졌어. 그래
잘
빠졌어.
뺐다.
그래 빠졌어. 아,
끝난 거 같아 거의.
네트에 걔도
웨이브 주면 끝남.
한번 걸 수 있고 이번에.
안 걸어도 돼 뜻.
안 갈게.
막아라.
안 갈게.
앞라인.
리퍼 공 있어요.
신드라 너가. 이제
한 게임 잘합시다.
잘했어.
나이스.